Hello there, Meoni here, and welcome back to another short news video for Final Fantasy XIV. Today is the 26th of February 2019, and the game was updated, as you might have noticed. There was a small patch when you tried to log in. This patch contained a series of hotfixes that applied changes to the following areas. This included majorative changes to the Eureka Hydatos expedition, including the number of crystals required to trade for an etheric stabilizer, which is used by the way for opening portals to the Baldesion Arsenal, has been reduced. Before, it was 500 Pyros, Pagos and Animos crystals, all cumulatively turned in for an etheric stabilizer. Now you only need 100 Pyros, Pagos and Animos crystals to actually get your etheric stabilizer. This is in an attempt to make it easier to access those portals. Additionally, the drop rates for the following items have also been increased. This includes the Ethereally Conductive Plate, Hydatos Cluster and Charlian Ether Oil, which are items obtained from notorious monsters, which collectively would be turned in for an etheric stabilizer. Across the board, they are making it much easier to get into Baldesion Arsenal. The number of Hydatos crystals rewarded for clearing the Baldesion Arsenal has also been increased. Previously, it was 10 Hydatos crystals upon completion, now it's gone up to 30. Additionally, as a temporary measure against issues, a job level of 70 has also been added as a requirement to enter the Baldesion Arsenal. Countermeasures have been implemented for the following issue. In Eureka Hydatos' Baldesion Arsenal, absolute virtue would not display the indicators that are supposed to precede certain actions. This is in relation to some of absolute virtue's abilities reportedly not being physically visible, so this should fix that issue. Additionally to that, they fixed a lot of other issues, including in the Unending Coil of Bahamut Ultimate, it became impossible to damage Twintania under certain conditions. In Eureka Hydatos, the notorious monster Tristicia's dual cast status could not be cancelled. In Hydatos, the notorious monster Frostmane would not move from a certain spot. In Hydatos, using Reflect L to repel the Arsenal sprite banish 3 is ineffective. Warping inside the Baldesion Arsenal was not possible when stable ethereal nodes were accessed under certain conditions. If Return was used in Eureka Hydatos to walk back to the expedition camp without entering battle into the Baldesion Arsenal, the Magia Melder and Logos Manipulator at the camp became impossible to access. Experience points gained from certain monsters inside Hydatos were lower than intended and has been fixed. The buffs from an elemental's elemental blessing would not be applied under certain circumstances where it would just not give you the buff in general. And then in Rival Wings, if a Machina was imbued with the effects of the Samurai action Hingenbana or Dark Knight action Soul Survivor, the buffs of those actions would go into effect if the action 3000 tons missile or optical sight was used. And finally, again in Rival Wings, if a Machina was imbued with the effects of the Red Maid action Monomarchy, the buff of that action would go into effect if the action 3000 tons missile or optical sight was used. There's some interesting changes, and there's a whole write-up on the forums by Yoshida, which I'll look at in the next video, as to the reasons for this. However, this does seem to be like a knee-jerk reaction to a lot of the feedback people have given about Baldesion Arsenal, without really any real consideration as to what would actually alleviate many people's issues with the content in general. Either way, this is only the first step towards planned future changes to that content, so we'll have to wait and see. Either way, thank you kindly for watching. That was what was in your patch today, including the Fat Cat mount on the Mog Station, and I'll see you all next time.